weapons of mass destruction have been found in Iraq.
It was the lie that was told over.
I take the fact that he develops weapons of mass destruction.
And over.
Mr. Bush, when are you going to apologize for the million Iraqis that are dead because you lied? You lied about weapons of mass destruction.
Iraq had no WMDs.
You lied about connections to 9/11.
Saddam Hussein will continue to increase his capacity to wage biological and chemical warfare.
And over.
You lied about Iraq being a threat.
We know that Saddam Hussein is determined to keep his weapons of mass destruction.
And over.
You sent me to Iraq in 2003. My friends are dead.
Iraq was a problem that had to be dealt with sooner rather than later.
And over again. Many have heard the story of Pat Tillman, former Arizona State Sun Devil and Arizona Cardinal in the NFL, ditching his football career to fight in the Middle East.
He met his death in April 2004 in the mountains of eastern Afghanistan. At first, the military told the country and Tillman's family that he was killed by enemy fighters as he rushed to protect his comrades from an ambush. Those nearest Tillman when he fell seriously doubted that account.
He would be killed, but the Bush administration, riding the wave of nationalism, covered up his death. Back in the United States, a former NBA player despised the war just as much. Josh Howard made a name for himself with Mark Cuban's Dallas Mavericks. However, it was his days at Wake Forest that he was vilified but also praised for his selfless stance. He was a stud with the Demon Deacons, being named ACC Player of the Year.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq.
When President George W. Bush announced the United States was invading Iraq, Howard sounded off. I think personally it's Bush. He's doing too much, man. He's mad because they about killed his daddy, about 5-6 years ago? And what happened in 9/11? It felt like at a club, somebody stole from him. He turned around. The first person he sees, he's ready to fight.
These are opening stages of what will be a broad and concerted campaign.
Basically, that's what he's doing because Saddam had been quiet for a while and he was over there looking for bin Laden. Now he can't find bin Laden. He's running to Saddam. Now he's ready to kick him out of Iraq, Howard said in March of 2003. He wasn't done. The Winston-Salem Journal quoted him. In addition to the theory of W being ticked at the attempt to off his father, Howard stated the war would be all over oil. This was the same man who, while at Wake, changed his major from sociology to religion after 9/11 because he wondered why the followers of any faith would commit such acts. But when he raised questions about the Iraq War during college, he received hate mail. Let's put this in perspective.
We're ashamed the President of the United States is from Texas.
This was a time when the Dixie Chicks got canceled by conservative America for talking bad about the president. A post-9/11 world in the United States was broadcasted over and over and over again. This fear, this impending doom and gloom. Every single network partook. It wasn't just the scare machine that is right-wing media. It was Fox News along with CBS News, ABC, NBC, CNN, what have you. The federal government used this fear to invest nearly $8 trillion in the wars that followed 9/11, according to an analysis by the Cost of War Project at Brown University. Muslim Americans had their civil rights violated, with many being accosted, threatened, or worse. There was a target placed on them, and the stats lay bare the soulless yet unfiltered truth of the United States. Josh Howard, the Chicks, and those who opposed the Iraq War knew the ensuing backlash and bravely spoke out. They would enter a war zone of their own, with many but not every American in favor of invasion. He would admit he was reprimanded for what he stated. Afterwards, he appeared uneasy to speak his mind. D Magazine would write, Josh Howard received death threats for his words and his stance. Clearly pressured to tone it down and be less outspoken, Howard, when asked a question, told the press, "My thoughts and prayers are with those guys. We pray for them every day. We wish them the best. We're just trying to focus on basketball now." And what happened? The sports industrial complex hit back. 28 players were selected before Howard, a star in college and a player many banked on having a successful NBA career. Dave Zirin would write for Slam magazine. I saw one scout even call Howard a risky pick, saying anti-war views may reflect rumored erratic behavior. Count me out as someone who thinks anti-war views are erratic. In the end, they were right.
We did not find stocks of either chemical or biological weapons. Active nuclear weapons program, no. We found no evidence, nor do we judge that there was one.
As former Director of Central Intelligence Special Advisor Charles Delpher concluded as such.